James, are you okay? What did I tell you about this alleyway?
I know.
With the small frame?
Yeah, that was close. That was close.
Anyway, we got to review this car. Did she get anything?
No, thank God. Do you know how hard it is to find prescription chapstick?
You're watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James. And today we have the 2019 Mustang GT Performance Pack 2.
And the 2018 Camaro SS 1LE.
And we have the 2018 because the 2019 now looks like this.
Okay, no, we don't like the look of the new front end, and it seems like not many others do either because we couldn't even find one to test. Also, Chevy doesn't even like it because they're changing it again for 2020. But thankfully, this 2018 looks better and is identical in every other way. And in case you didn't notice, this one has been wrapped. This wrap job was done by Limitless Wraps. You can find them on Instagram, and they did an impeccable job. It looks so good, in fact, I think it may have pushed me over the edge to wrap my own car. Anyway, the SS 1LE takes the regular SS Camaro with its 6.2-liter V8, pushing 455 horsepower and 455 pound-feet of torque, and couples it with proper track-specific upgrades, including an electronic limited-slip differential, big brakes, a data logger, better seats, Alcantara trimmings, and a full cooling package, including engine oil cooler, trans cooler, and diff cooler. In other words, there are very few cars on sale today that are so purpose-built to take on a racetrack.
But if you want a sports car that you can actually see out of, perhaps the Mustang GT Performance Pack 2 is the answer. $6,500 more than a normal GT, it's lower, tighter, and includes Magna-Ride damping, Brembo 6-piston front brakes, and Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tyres, one of the best performance tyres out there. Frustratingly for track goers though, Ford have excluded some extra cooling that the GT350, or more importantly in this case, the 1LE, has, and apparently some have found that the rear differential overheats. I found that the clutch takes a little bit of getting used to, with a long throw and a high biting point, but rowing through the gears is an absolute pleasure in this manual-only spec, and leaves you with no doubt that you have 5 litres, 8 cylinders, 460 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque at your little tippy toes. And the beauty of this engine is it's naturally aspirated. So it's instant response, you're not waiting for a turbo. You put your foot down on the pedal and it's there. If you're driving this car aggressively, you're not going to be shifting that often because the gears are so tall. But that, on the other hand, that makes you able to enjoy the in-gear sound for so long because the red line is so high. But that's not a bad thing because you get to enjoy it all the way to 7,500. There it is. Oh, and again.
All right, we're in the Camaro SS 1LE. If you can't see me, it's because it's a little bit dark out and it's really dark in here. Visibility is not good. But I found that once you kind of get into it and you get used to it, all you see is this really awesome heads-up display and the road in front of you, and that's all you need. All right, let's start with the engine though. It has a little bit less horsepower than the Mustang, but honestly, it's not a thing that you notice. You do get some really awesome sound, especially with the exhaust in the loudest mode. I'll show you right now. All right. There's no doubt this is a fast car. And since this isn't on Cup 2s like that Performance Pack 2 Mustang that James has, the rear end gets a little bit squirrely. It pulls well all the way to the red line. It doesn't quite feel or sound as like insane and exotic as that Mustang does, but it's definitely a special engine. It feels very purposeful.
So this also has the upgraded active exhaust butterfly valve thing, and that means you can change the exhaust sound from the steering wheel. I currently have it in track mode, which you're not apparently supposed to have on the road, but it's really fun, so I'm gonna do it. So the PP2 comes standard with the Magna-Ride suspension, which enables this thing to be so flat in the corners, and it is a dream. There's a frustration to driving this car on the road because I know just how good this must be on the track. But one of the most important things that separates this from Performance Pack 1 is that this comes stock with Cup 2 tyres. The Bullet and the Performance Pack 1 come with PS4Ss. These things are nuts. They're basically slicks, which means they've got tons of grip on the track. But I picked this up in 6 degrees and the rain, and it felt like I was playing air hockey on the road. This is a 180 tread wear, which means it's super sticky, but it's not gonna last that long. And perusing the Mustang forums, I found that a lot of people that buy the PP2 package actually go and stick PS4Ss on it immediately and save their Cup 2 tires for the track, which from driving this on the road is the only way I can picture doing it.
All right, so this is the SS1LE, and that means it comes with a lot of track-specific stuff, including the magnetic dampers, just like the Mustang, which means that the ride is actually quite good, but when you couple that with all of the other stuff like really stiff sway bars, this is a really, really planted car. All right, the shifter is actually really, really good too, and it does this weird thing, actually, when you're not in like full track mode or whatever. If you don't rev out first gear all the way, when you go to put it in second, it just goes, oh, you wanted fourth, and it like magically puts it in there for you. It's kind of weird to save gas. And here's what I noticed about the Camaro. Even though it looks big, it doesn't feel big at all. This is a very stiff chassis, and the front end is really, really direct. It has a smaller diameter steering wheel, and it just turns in. It's just a really, really sharp car. If you're wondering what these paddle shifters are, actually last time we drove one of these, everyone asked why these are in a manual. They're actually to turn on and off the auto rev match feature, which I have off right now.
The awesome thing about the setup of this car is that if you're coming from like a Miata or a Porsche, this doesn't feel like a boaty old American muscle car. It feels like an out-and-out sports car. Front end grip is incredible. I can steer it with the throttle if I want to, and it feels predictable. And then you've got that engine coming in just like that, and it's unbelievable. However, with the Torsen diff in the back, it can get away from you pretty quickly.
One thing that is difficult to convey, this is one of those feelings that's really hard to put into words, and you have to almost drive the car to understand. This feels light. It doesn't feel like a big, heavy V8 up front, rear wheel drive American car. It feels a lot more precise than that. And that's the best compliment that I think I can possibly give it. Diving into the corners, honestly, it just feels fantastic. I have driven one of these on the track, and I can tell you that it feels just as good out there.
And that is the sound of burning fuel. An EV lover's dream, this car. My fuel economy has been 14.9 liters per 100 kilometers.
So the SS1LE actually comes with a lot of really track-specific stuff, including better cooling, sway bars, and a system that can actually take a video of and monitor your laps. Also, I didn't know this, but apparently Chevy will, if you throw a rod or something at the track, they will, to a certain degree, replace the engine and honor warranty claims if you've tracked the car. If you're looking for a car to buy new, specifically to go to the track, this is a really, really easy choice. So driving this again has reminded me just how good it actually is. So I think I need to get back in that Mustang to kind of refresh my brain on that and see which one of these is the better buy.
So this is an absolute button-down V8 beast. And I need to go try that 1LE again to remind myself. But first, Thomas and I are going to talk about the interior and exterior design.
But before we check out the styling, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. And for extra content and behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram at The Throttle House.
Hit my head coming out there. It's a bit low.
Yeah? Well, you can't see anything.
No,
so.
you can't see anything. This is a seriously good car.
I didn't think a Camaro could look this good.
You know what? I agree. The wrap on this car is absolutely fantastic for starters, but this is the 1LE, so it comes with the black hood automatically. And 1LE stuff. We got the splitter, we got the wheels, and we have this little ducktail wing in the back. Either way, I think this is a really mean-looking car, and this is the way that it should look.
Are these bigger brakes as well for the 1LE?
Yes, there's a whole bunch of stuff that makes it 1LE, which I told the ladies and gentlemen while I was in the car. But I think that this is overall a better looking car than your Mustang, mostly because
You're going to make it personal?
This is such a ridiculous wheel gap.
I disagree. I think it's fine, and I think this is the least stock looking stance I've ever seen. It's so aggressive.
It's
and
really
so cool.
stancy, but I have less, just a little bit less wheel gap.
Great.
So what makes this the PP2?
So, what, aesthetically?
Aesthetically.
Okay,
yes.
we get this giant splitter for
Yeah.
extra downforce.
Okay, good.
We also get these wheels, which are
Yes.
badass.
I have cool wheels too. I just wanted,
Yeah, those
I just
wheels
wanted
are
to
sick.
point that out.
I actually prefer the Camaro wheels.
No, do you? Okay.
But otherwise, yeah, it's a slightly lower ride height as well, and we get these Cup 2s, which, as I discussed in the car, are an interesting decision.
Yeah, these are
for the road.
These are really
and this
serious.
little spoiler at the back. But otherwise, yeah. And this stripe, do you know how much this stripe costs?
It'll be like what, $100?
$600 from
$600.
Yeah, it doesn't line up there.
That doesn't line up there.
I'd go aftermarket with that
Go
one.
aftermarket with
Yeah.
that. That actually literally doesn't for $600. That's not acceptable.
No.
Okay, interior?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, Mustang.
Mustang.
Yeah.
I have deja vu.
Because we're in the Bullet
We're just in the
recently.
Bullet.
Yeah.
It doesn't say Bullet anywhere here
No,
though.
and it doesn't say Performance Pack 2 anywhere either.
Which is, I guess, PP2
Yeah,
on a
it's
plaque.
it's not a great name.
That wouldn't be the best thing to have.
But we
yeah.
this is quite a simple interior, and they normally are when the price is this, but like
materials wise,
yeah,
you mean?
but the money
Yeah.
goes towards performance, so
Yeah.
I'm happy about that. This does have some cool things though.
Yes.
It's option with the Recaro seats, which we had in the Bullet.
Yep.
Very nicely
They're
bolstered.
okay. They're okay. I don't find them for bolstering very good. Comfort, not so much for me anyway.
I'm finding them very comfortable.
Okay, fair.
This has the B&O sound system optioned.
Oh, that's
Which
right.
is
yeah.
nice, yeah.
That's actually, is it good?
I've been listening to the V8.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair.
The
Yes.
exhaust sounds amazing in this
Yes.
car.
Toggle switches. Those
Yeah,
are
we
nice.
got this toggle switch down here for mode, and we can go through in the gauge cluster, which
It
is
changes the
digital.
gauge
yeah,
cluster.
this is option with digital, so we've got
Yeah.
the track, drag strip, and it all changes in a really nice way. I like
cool.
it, and this is even quite a satisfying click.
It is a bit of a click, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can independently change the steering feel as well, which is really nice right there.
Otherwise, it's a pretty run-of-the-mill.
It's utilitarian, right? There's literally an oil pressure and a vacuum gauge here. It just tells you the information you need for performance, right? Plastics are hard, but we overlook that because this is so ridiculously fast.
It's mad.
It's crazy
absolutely
fast,
mad.
yes.
And there's also a bunch of buttons on the steering wheel, which are actually really simple to use. There's a horse button.
Did you get more horses?
It doesn't. No, it doesn't give you more
It doesn't,
horses.
like,
You're still stuck at
doesn't call a
460.
horse
No.
or- oh, okay.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Like Shadowfax just comes along. Shadowfax. Yeah. But no, if you press this, you can change your exhaust mode, which I've been. All right, quiet, Gandalf. You can change your exhaust mode. I've been driving it in track mode.
Like a madman.
I think it's the loudest.
It
No,
is.
just-
It
it's
is
just
the
exhaust,
loudest.
yeah.
It is the loudest.
But for some reason, I can't get it to stay there. It keeps defaulting back to normal. When you change the modes,
It changes, and
Yeah,
you
you
can
got-
change the colors, like primary and secondary colors, and it changes the colors of the oil pressure and the vacuum gauge as well, which is really neat.
there you go. Changing colors,
That's important.
pushing this to the future.
Yeah, that's right.
Otherwise, Mustang. Yeah.
Yay. That's Camaro?
Yeah.
All right.
And it is nighttime.
It's nighttime all of a sudden. Isn't
Yeah.
that neat? Yeah. So, this is the, like my graphics?
I like that.
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on a weird
Why- yeah,
canted.
why is
I
it
don't
leaning?
understand. And it doesn't collect dust. There's that. That's
Okay,
that's an
cool.
advantage.
Neither
I
does the
suppose.
underside of the dinner table. You still eat dinner underneath.
Yeah, you don't watch anything there.
I
Okay.
actually really like that.
So this is like, it's half digital, half analog, obviously.
I immediately prefer it to the Mustang.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Interesting. I think I like the gauge cluster in the Mustang better. This is still very nice. But either way, the important part about this is that I can toggle through here and I get some really proper track information on here. Like I can get all my temperatures and stuff, and this is where my data logger stuff happens when I'm on the track, right?
I'd say both have
Also,
that.
this has actually, I had a small viral video on Facebook. I don't know if you remember that.
There you go. That was
Opening
Thomas's
this.
15 minutes of fame.
Opening this.
Yeah.
This is, honestly, try and get anything from this. It's the worst.
I'm getting a lot out of this.
It is the worst design. It is the worst design ever.
Yeah.
Other than that, the driving position here is fantastic. And once you can get over the fact that it's like looking out of a slit in a paper bag, it's actually a really cool interior.
Honestly, I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's neat. I mean,
It's just the visibility is nuts.
it is hilarious. But once you're like in the zone, you don't notice because I got my heads-up display. I can see the road. End of story. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
What
I think
what
you
is
know what's
behind
weird?
me tis no matter.
The materials are as cheap as the Mustang, but it's a less noisy look.
I agree.
You know, like
Yes.
the Mazda 3 is doing really a good job
Yep.
of that as well.
And this is how I control the temperatures and the fans.
Ooh.
Biggest dials in history, I think.
Yeah, but that makes you feel powerful.
That's whoa. Yeah.
That's like it's Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah, this is right here. Oh. Anyway, the
Lights on,
back
lights
seats
off.
of neither of these cars are usable for human beings.
You mean of either of them?
Yeah. Did I say of neither of these
Yeah,
cars?
that's okay. We
That's not
forgive
the-
you.
That's not the correct English.
Yeah.
So the back seat of this car and that one is not usable. Are not usable.
It's okay.
English is hard.
He'll be
It's
alright.
not my first language.
I really want to drive it.
Yes, you should want to drive it
Yeah.
because it's so good. Let's do it.
Okay, in the 1LE. Oh no, this immediately feels better. Everything feels tighter. The steering, the turn-in feels tighter. The shifter feels tighter. I really like this. The visibility is ridiculous. I feel like I'm in the Batcave. or in the Batmobile even, and there's no Anne Hathaway next to me, which is really disappointing. But my God, this feels good.
All right, in the Mustang. Oh, both these cars sound so good.
This is a machine. But this already feels like, it feels stiffer and tighter, and I really like the interior of this. It feels simpler. It's not trying to be as much. I've enjoyed my time with the Mustang, but I don't know, immediately this car's grabbed me.
Between the two of them, the Mustang feels a little bit more of a beast. All right, in some corners. The MagneRide suspension is unbelievable in this car. The ride's actually quite soft, but then it stays so flat. Really, really, really impressive what they've done with these. Genuinely a driver's car, engaging in all aspects. Both of them are.
It feels great. It's just as flat in the corners, which I'll give to the Mustang as well. I don't know if you can get over the visibility. Those tires are not Cup 2s. Must be careful. Wow, what a car. What a car. It has to be my choice of the two. So quickly does this feel more towards my preferences.
Which one is better though? I don't know. And I think in order to make a total decision, I would have to drive both of them on the track, back to back. But out here on the road, I think there's just something about the Camaro that I like better.
So while the Mustang has more interior space, better visibility, and some might say better styling, as a pure driver's car, the Camaro won both of us over enough that we can forgive any transgressions it might present. However, both of these are incredible fun to drive, and even though the Camaro might be the better buy for track usage, the Mustang has its own lovable character. And the reality is, for day-to-day use, you wouldn't regret buying either.